أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. Somebody asked a question. What is the difference between fitna and bala in nablukum? What's the difference? Difference between fitna and bala. What is a fitna? Fitna is a difficulty. It is a test. It is a difficult situation. The object of which is purification. The object of which is change. Like for example, if a disbeliever in fitna on a believer, why does he do that? Because he wants the believer to change. So fitna is a test. It is a difficult situation, the object of which is purification in the case of the believer. And bala is a difficult test through which one's true worth is known. Bala is a difficult situation so that one's true worth is known. To know the true worth of someone. What is their reality? Where do they stand? So the object of fitna is different from the object of bala. Okay, let's begin the lesson. Lesson number 169, Surah Al-Hajj, ayah number 25 to 37. Inna alladhina kafaru. Indeed, those people who have disbelieved. References to the people of Makkah. وَيَصُدُّونَ. And they also stop. They also hinder. Who? The people. From what? عَنْ سَبِيلِ اللَّهِ. From the way of Allah. Meaning they prevent people from accepting the deen of Allah. They prevent people from practicing the deen of Allah. وَالْمَسْجِدِ الْحَرَامِ. And also the sacred mosque. Meaning, وَيَصُدُّونَ عَنِ الْمَسْجِدِ الْحَرَامِ. And they also stop people from the sacred mosque. Al-Masjid al-Haram is the masjid that is around the Kaaba, the Baytullah. And although over here Al-Masjid al-Haram is mentioned, however, by mentioning the juz, the part of something, the entire haram is meant over here. So Al-Masjid al-Haram does not just mean the sacred mosque, which is around the Kaaba, but rather it refers to the entire area of haram. So they prevent people from the sacred mosque, meaning they stop people from performing Hajj and Umrah over there. Because as you know, the Hajj is not only performed in the Masjid al-Haram. You have to go to Mina, you have to go to Arafat, you have to go to Muzdalifah, various places. So they stop people from performing Hajj, they prevent people from performing Umrah over there, from worshipping Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala over there. We learned that the people of Makkah, the mushrikeen, they used to stop the Muslims and the Prophet ﷺ from reciting the Quran in the Haram. And they also prevented them from praying the Salah in the Haram. This was before they migrated from Makkah to Medina. We have learned about various incidents in which the Prophet ﷺ was praying and they went and harassed him or they tried to stop him. There were other people who recited the Quran out loud and they were beaten up severely. So, while Masjid al-Haram, they prevented the Muslims from worshipping Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala over there. Whether it was in the form of reciting the Quran or it was in the form of praying the Salah. And after the Prophet ﷺ migrated from Makkah to Medina, what happened? After some time, when the Muslims, they came to Makkah in order to perform Umrah, they were prevented. And that is when the Treaty of Hudaybiyah was signed. So, such incidents are being referred to over here. That the people who stop others from the way of Allah, and they stop others from the Masjid al-Haram, and the Masjid al-Haram is such a place that, الَّذِي, that which, جَعَلْنَاهُ, we have made it, لِلنَّاسِ, for all people, sawa, equal. Meaning all people have equal right to visit that place and to worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala over there. So just because someone has migrated from Makkah to Medina does not mean he has a less of a right to go to Makkah and perform Umrah over there. Because الَّذِي جَعَلْنَاهُ لِلنَّاسِ سَوَاء, it has been made equal for all people, meaning all people have the right to come and worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala alone over there. Because linnas, an-nas over here does not include mushrikeen, as we have learned earlier in Surah At-Tawbah, that they're not allowed to come and practice their shirk over there. Because when Allah is the one who has designated that place, what does it mean? That it's only He who should be worshipped over there. So if anyone wishes to come and worship over there, he should not be prevented. he should not be stopped from doing so. But the mushrikeen of Makkah, what were they doing? They were preventing the Muslims from coming to the Haram and worshipping Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala over there. And الَّذِي جَعَلْنَاهُ لِلنَّاسِ سَوَاء, this has been understood in two ways. That first of all people have the right to visit that place. And secondly, all people are enjoined to observe its proper etiquette. Just because someone is an Arab, just because someone lives in Makkah, just because someone is from the Arabian Peninsula, doesn't mean he has more right. Or doesn't mean he doesn't have to observe the proper etiquette. No. Every single person has the right, and every single person is enjoined to observe its proper etiquette. And it is the same for al-aakifu fihi, the resident in it, meaning the one who resides in the area of Haram. So in other words, in Makkah, wal-bad, and also the outsider. So it is the same for both types of people, the resident as well as the outsider. Al-aakif is from the root letters Ain Kaffa, and ukuf, as you know, is to stay in one place. It is to stay devoted to something, to not move from there. And from this, the word akif is also used for the resident of a city, the resident of a town, because that is where he lives. And al-bad, from the root letters ba, dal, waw. And it's from the word badawa, which is to live in the desert. So bad is the desert dweller. And the word over here, bad, it doesn't just apply to the Bedouins, but it also applies to the outsiders. Because the Bedouins, what would they do? They would live in the deserts, but every now and then they would go to a city, they would go to a town, they would go to a village. So they would come to these places as outsiders. So from this, al-bad is also used for a visitor. Someone who's not come to permanently stay, but someone who has just come to visit for some time. So the Baytullah, the Masjid al-Haram, the area of Haram is such that Allah has made it equal for all people, whether he resides in Makkah or he's an outsider, or he's a passerby, a visitor. All people have the right to come and worship Allah over there. وَمَن يُرِدْ, and whoever intends, whoever desires, فِيهِ, in it. Where? In the Haram, in the Baytullah, in the Masjid al-Haram. Whoever intends to be ilhad, whoever intends to do in it ilhad. What does ilhad mean? Ilhad is to deviate from the right course. It is to move away from the right course. And from this, the word is also used for adopting misguidance. Because lahad is what? It's such a grave that you go downwards and then you go sideways. So this is what ilhad is, that a person is going on the right course and then he adopts deviation. He adopts misguidance. And remember that ilhad is of several types. When it comes to the technical term ilhad, it is of several types. First of all, it includes shirk with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, associating partners with Allah. Because such type of deviation, such type of moving away from the right course, what does it do? It nullifies the iman of a person. That even if a person is praying salah, even if a person is giving the zakat, he calls himself a Muslim, but if he does shirk, then his iman is nullified. From the same root is the word mulhid, and mulhid is used for an apostate. Secondly, ilhad includes indulging in acts of misguidance. Participating in acts of misguidance, heresy. Even if it is in the name of religion. Like for example, a person does an act which is a complete innovation, that has no basis in the religion. Now, he claims to be a Muslim. He is perhaps doing the actions of Muslims as well. However, his actions are deviated from the right course. So you understand how it's used for ilhad? That you're going straight but then you go off track. You're going straight but then you adopt misguidance. So ilhad includes shirk, and it also includes indulging in acts of disobedience, indulging in acts of misguidance, even if they're done in the name of religion. So whoever intends to do ilhad in the Masjid al-Haram, whether it is in the form of shirk or it is in the form of qatl, because remember it includes all types of sins as well, or it is disrespecting the Haram in some way, or practicing innovations over there. So any person who does ilhad in the Haram, how is he going to do ilhad in the haram? بِظُلْمٍ, with injustice. What does it mean by this? Meaning he does ilhad by doing zulm, for the reason of wrongdoing, with the intention to sin. Because you see over here, وَمَنْ يُرِدْ فِيهِ بِإِلْحَادٍ. Over there only irada is mentioned, intention is mentioned. But bizulm specifies that he is doing it with the intention to sin. He is committing what is forbidden. And also if you think about it, ilhad in the haram is done out of injustice. Meaning nobody has the right to do any type of ilhad over there. No shirk, no bid'ah, nothing that is against the religion, no oppression, no theft, no murder, nothing of that sort is permissible over there. So anyone who engages in such activities in the haram, Allah says, نُذِقُهُ مِنْ عَذَابٍ أَلِيمٍ. We will make him taste of painful punishment. What do we see over here? That the haram is a place that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has specified for His worship only. And all people have the right to come and worship Allah over there. And if there is any person who stops others, who prevents others from coming over there, if there is any person who commits injustice over there, who does something that is against the teachings that Allah has given, then such a person is committing a serious crime, a serious offense. And he will be certainly punished for this crime by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, wherever He wishes, in the dunya or in the hereafter. We see that the Masjid al-Haram is a place of aman. As we have learned earlier, that this place, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has made it as a place of security and safety. Why? Because people from all over the world come over there to worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And imagine if people do not feel secure over there. If you feel threatened, if you feel insecure in a place, can you focus on what you're supposed to be doing? No way. And especially when it comes to ibadah, when it comes to the worship of Allah, security, peace of mind has to be there. Because otherwise a person cannot do ibadah properly. This is the reason why, if anyone disrupts the peace of that place, if anyone violates the commands of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in that place, then he is going against the purpose for which that place was built, for which that place was constructed, for which that place was sanctified. And because this person is committing a serious crime, therefore he will be duly punished. We learn that Imam Ahmad, he was asked that is a sin written more than once for a person, meaning is a sin multiplied for a person just as good deeds are multiplied for a person? He said no, unless that sin is performed in Makkah. Unless that sin is performed in Makkah. That just as a person does a good deed, that good deed is multiplied because of the way that he has done it, because of the time that he has performed it in. The good deed, the reward is multiplied for him. Similarly, if a sin is committed in Makkah, according to Imam Ahmad, the sin is multiplied. The crime is multiplied. The offense is more serious. Because that place is a place that has been specified for the worship of Allah. And if anyone goes against the purpose was built, he is a serious criminal. And this is the reason why we see that even killing animals is not permissible over there. Hunting animals is not permissible over there. And the only animals that are permissible to be killed over there are those that are harmful for people. And even destroying plants, uprooting plants is not permissible. Except for this one type of grass that is izghir, which the people used to use. But otherwise, even plants cannot be uprooted, animals cannot be harassed, animals cannot be killed. Now if animals and plants cannot be disturbed, you think people can be disturbed? People can be harassed? People can be threatened over there? Their life can be put in danger? No way, this is not permissible at all. And we see that when Abraha, when he came with his entire army to attack the Kaaba, to destroy the Kaaba, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala Himself defended His house. He sent an entire army of His birds to destroy that army of Abraha. And we learned that the people of that time, they were obviously mushrikeen. But the grandfather of the Prophet ﷺ, Abdul Muttalib, when his camels had been taken by Abraha and his army. So he came to take his camels back from them. And they said, your worship place is, we're attacking that and you're concerned about your camels? What did he say? That I am concerned about my property, and the God who has sanctified this place, He will protect His property. So we see that this place has been specified for the worship of Allah. And if anyone disturbs the peace, if anyone disrespects that place in any way, Allah Himself will inflict punishment on him. Because He Himself has taken responsibility to guard and preserve that place. And we see that carrying weapons over there is also not permissible. Carrying weapons. Unless if it's for a genuine reason, otherwise it's not permissible. Similarly, if there's a criminal who is found over there, who is guilty of a major crime, a serious offense, you find him in the haram, you cannot kill him, you cannot harass him, you cannot do anything to him unless he comes out of the haram. And we see that it was only at the time of the conquest of Makkah, when for a few hours the sanctity was uplifted for the Prophet ﷺ. And he made it clear to the people that it has been uplifted only for some time and now it has been reinstated again. Therefore, no one can violate the sanctity of this holy place ever again. And we learn in Surah Al-Baqarah, ayah 217, that قُلْ قِتَالٌ فِيهِ كَبِيرٌ وَصَدٌّ عَنْ سَبِيلِ اللَّهِ وَكُفْرٌ بِهِ وَالْمَسْجِدِ الْحَرَامِ وَإِخْرَاجُ أَهْلِهِ مِنْهُ أَكْبَرُ عِنْدَ اللَّهِ. That yes, fighting in the sacred months is a huge thing. It's a big deal. However, stopping people from the way of Allah and disbelieving in Allah and stopping people from the Masjid al-Haram and expelling its people from its houses is greater in the sight of Allah. Is greater in the sight of Allah. That people who are living over there, they're not allowed to live in peace. That people who come to worship over there, they're prevented from doing so. وَإِذْ بَوَّأْنَا, and when we designated لِإِبْرَاهِيمَ, for Ibrahim alayhi salam, مَكَانَ الْبَيْتِ, the site of the house, the place of the house. Meaning, and mention when we designated for Ibrahim alayhi salam the place of the house as to where he should build it. Bawa'na is from the root letters ba, waw, hamza. Bawa'a, yubawwi'u, tabwi'a. And it literally means to make a place suitable on landing over there, on reaching over there. And it is to appoint a place. So, to appoint a place, to designate a place, and then make it suitable once you reach over there. Like, for example, you go for a picnic. You go to a park. And it's a huge park, you don't know where to go. So you designate a place. Okay, this particular area of the park, this is where we're going to sit together and eat. First of all, you designated the place. Now, once you designated the place, once you got there, what did you do? You made sure that you put the sheets under the tree so that whoever is sitting over there is under the shade. So you prepare that place, you make it suitable for yourself. This is what bawwa'a is. To appoint, to designate, and to make it suitable as well. We have learned this word earlier as well. تُبَوِّئُ الْمُؤْمِنِينَ مَقَاعِدَ لِلْقِتَالِ. The Prophet ﷺ was appointing the places for the believers for the purpose of battle. So وَإِذْ بَوَّأْنَا, why is this word used over here? To show that the place of the Kaaba, where the Kaaba is built, that was appointed by who? By Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And Allah showed the place to who? Ibrahim alayhi salam. Because we see that the Kaaba, you can say it was destroyed because of the flood of Nuh alayhi salam. Because the Kaaba, it was there before. However, after the flood, its foundations had collapsed. And when Ibrahim alayhi salam, after so many years, when he came over there and he was told to construct the Kaaba, he had no idea as to where the actual place was supposed to be, where the actual Kaaba was. So instead of building it anywhere, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala designated the place. This is where the Kaaba was, and this is where you're supposed to rebuild the Kaaba. So Ibrahim alayhi salam, he built the Kaaba over there. And we learned that Ibrahim alayhi salam, he was originally from where? From Iraq. But when his people, they tried to burn him, his father said, leave, otherwise I'm going to stone you to death. He was forced to do hijrah. So he left that place. And when he left that place, he went to Ash-Sham. And he also left his wife Hajar, as well as his son Ismail, where? in Makkah. Now, over there at that time, the Kaaba was not there. It was a barren land. No one would come and visit. No one would come to even pass by that place because there was nothing in that area. Nothing at all. A barren valley. So Ibrahim a.s. when he returned over there, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala commanded him to construct the Kaaba. And he did so with who? With his son Ismail. So وَإِذْ بَوَّأْنَا لِإِبْرَاهِيمَ مَكَانَ الْبَيْتِ, the place of the house. Meaning, the site, the location of the Kaaba as to where he was supposed to build it. And what was he commanded? That what is the objective of building this house? Allah tushrik, that you do not do shirk. Be with me shay'an, anything at all. Do not associate any partner with me. And this is the objective of building the Kaaba. And what is that? To establish Tawheed, to establish the worship of Allah alone. وَطَهِّرْ, and also cleanse, also purify. Baytiya, my house, meaning the Kaaba. Also purify my house for who? لِلطَّائِفِينَ, for those who do tawaf. وَالْقَائِمِينَ, and those who stand in prayer. وَالرُّكَّعْ, and those who bow down. السُّجُود, those who prostrate. الطَّائِفِين, plural of طائف. And who is طائف? One who does tawaf. And al-qa'imin, plural of qa'im. Who is qa'im? One who does qiyam. But al-qa'im has also been understood as muqim, meaning those who do i'tikaf over there. Because in another ayah, what have we learned? وَالْعَاكِفِينَ. In Surah Al-Baqarah, ayah 125, we have learned earlier, وَعَهِدْنَا إِلَىٰ إِبْرَاهِيمَ وَإِسْمَاعِيلَ أَن طَهِرَ بَيْتِيَ لِلطَّائِفِينَ وَالْعَاكِفِينَ وَالرُّكَّعِ السُّجُودِ. So same words have been used except for, instead of al-qa'imin, what is over there? Al-akifin. So al-qa'imin has also been understood as muqimin, meaning al-akifin, those who are doing i'tikaf. وَالرُّكَّعِ, plural of raki', one who does ruku'. And as-sujud, plural of sajid, one who does sajda. So Ibrahim a.s., he is given certain instructions over here. That after you have completed the construction of the Kaaba, make sure that only Allah is worshipped over here. Because this is the purpose of this place. That those who come to this house for the purpose of worshipping Allah alone, they should realize that this house is only for worshipping Allah. It's not for anything else. This is the objective. This is the purpose. And when people come to worship Allah over there, they should find that place clean. They should find that place pure and free from shirk. So tahir bayti, clean it, cleanse it. And tahara over here has been understood in two ways. That first of all, it includes tangible cleanliness, and secondly, it includes intangible cleanliness. Tangible, that it should be a clean place, that when people are there, they shouldn't be finding filth everywhere. Because if you're worshipping Allah and the place smells, if you're trying to pray salah and the place is smelling, or the place is filthy, the people are using the washroom right by the place where the people are supposed to be praying, and the nasty smell is coming where the people are praying, is a person able to focus on his worship? Not at all. It's not possible. So people are coming from all over the world to worship Allah over there. Make sure that house is clean. Tahir bayti. And this definitely is for the Masjid al-Haram. But this is also for the other masajid of Allah. That the masajid, they are for Allah, meaning they're built for the worship of Allah. So when people come to do that, they should find that place clean. Because if it's not clean, your ibadah gets affected. Tahara is a major part of the worship. It's a major part of ibadah. And without tahara, worship is almost nullified. For example, if a person is praying salah without wudu, is the salah valid? No. You have to clean yourself, physically clean yourself, in order for your worship to be accepted, in order for your worship to be valid. Therefore, tahara is extremely important. And the thing is that if we are not careful ourselves, then we could be affecting other people's ibadah. Because think about it, if a person does not use the washroom properly, and there are sprinkles of urine everywhere, for instance, or the floor is left wet, the toilet seat is left dirty, And other people, they do not spot that filth. And they use the toilet. And as a result, that filth is on their bodies, on their clothes. And when they perform salah, is their salah going to be valid? Because of you, it's not going to be valid. Because of you, the quality of the salah is going to be affected. So we have to be very careful that we have to keep ourselves clean and we have to keep the place clean as well. Because it will affect our worship and it will also affect the worship of other people. So Ibrahim a.s., he was a prophet of Allah and he was commanded, you clean the house. What do we think? That cleaning is done by who? The cleaners. And we think that if we're asked to clean a place, then we are being insulted. It does not suit us that why should we be the cleaners? Why should we be told to clean this place? We think it's an insult. However, remember, this is not an insult, it's an honor. That lady who used to clean the masjid, when she passed away, the Prophet ﷺ went and he prayed her janazah. Although the Sahaba didn't even think it was important to tell the Prophet ﷺ about her death, because nobody even knew much about her. But he noticed that and he appreciated that deed. And Allah appreciates even more. So this is something that we must realize. I remember that when we were doing the course in Pakistan, there was no concept of cleaners at Al-Huda. Neither in the hostel nor at the main building. Eventually in the building, because it was huge, this is why there were cleaners. However, every single day in the morning, for almost half an hour to 1 hour, there was a duty that was appointed to every single person who used to come into that place. And even today, if you go actually in the hostels, people are still cleaning the buildings themselves. The hostel students that were appointed, that this is your place, you live over here, you study over here, so you have to keep it clean yourself. And every single day, every morning, for half an hour, 45 minutes, it's your duty every day. You either have to sweep the floors or mop the floors or do something or the other. And the thing is that when you clean the place yourself, you value it. When you clean your own house, right? When you mop your floor, don't you value it so much? That if anyone comes and drops even a drop of water, how offended you feel. And how quickly you will go and clean that spot. Right? And the thing is that if somebody else goes and does it, then we don't really give that much attention to it. We don't really appreciate that as much. So we see that tahara is a major part of iman. It's a major part of worship. And there is no insult if we are told to clean the masjid. Because Ibrahim a.s., Khalilullah, the Prophet of Allah, the friend of Allah, he was told by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to clean the masjid. And he did it. So tahir, first of all, includes tangible cleanliness. And secondly, it also includes intangible cleanliness. And intangible cleanliness would mean that clean it from what? From shirk. So طَهِّرْ بَيْتِيَ لِلطَّائِفِينَ وَالْقَائِمِينَ وَالرُّكَّعِ السُّجُودِ. Clean it for all of these people. So that when they come to do ibadah over there, they're able to do so with khushu'.